everybody. Welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is your editor-in-chief for AMC Movie News, John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you live from right here at the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. It's smelling like an Avengers kind of day.
Also here is AMC's Mark Ellis.
And I'm happy to say that after yesterday's episode, John Schnepp and I have finished draft 1 of the Aunt May movie. In production.
That's right. Yes, also here is writer-director John Schnepp.
Yeah, we were surrounded by clouds of purple stank, and then we also came up with this crazy spy ring drama that takes place in the 60s. It's called Uncle Ben.
Hey guys, listen, before we get into the news today, I want to mention just a couple quick things. Number one, don't forget, if you're seeing, hey, John, your face is looking a little bit more, homely than normal, I am participating in No Shave November as a way to raise awareness and remind everybody to support the American Cancer Society. If you look in the description of this video a little bit later, you'll find a link to my fundraising page, and I really want to implore you to head on over there and make a donation today to the American Cancer Society. Your family, my family, all of us have family or friends that we know that have been touched by this horrible disease, and now is your chance to make a difference. I also just want to mention quickly tonight, I am running my Arrow after show tonight, and tonight we have in studio, actually coming in, is Arrow himself, Stephen Amell, who is coming in. He will be live on the show with us tonight at 9 p.m. Los Angeles time. So tune on in, watch us tonight, send in your questions for Stephen Amell as well, and that'll be kind of cool. Now, before we get to story number one, as happens sometimes, we finish the show notes in the morning and then something happens. Well, today they dropped, I'm not going to say a new trailer for the Avengers, but a new version of the trailer, if you will. Shep, you're actually the first one who brought it to my attention. You saw it. What did you think about this new version?
I thought it was great. I mean, it really is just like an extended version of the trailer that we, like 400 million people saw like 2 weeks ago. But it's got like, it's sprinkled with a couple of new shots of like Iron Man flying or like Captain America jumping over a car. One or two, just a few shots really, but those few shots really add to the intensity, and I think the beginning is a lot different, where they basically have Ultron, shambling in and kind of threatening the Avengers while they're all having their party at Stark Mansion or Avengers Mansion or whatever it is. So
I hate it when you're having a good party and robots come in.
Yeah,
that just
what a bummer. And they come through the wall too. He's like, hey, and also I got my friends. Yay, hello to my little robot friend. It's like, yeah, I really thought it was great. I mean, May can't come soon enough.
Aunt May or May?
Both.
Yeah, I was wondering what you meant. Is she appearing in this movie? Can she lift Thor's hammer?
I don't think
Aunt May lifts Thor's hammer.
Sony would have a problem like Aunt May, yeah.
Mark, you saw it?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Despite the lack of Aunt May appearances, I was excited. When I first saw that there was a new Avengers trailer, the extended version, I was like, it's just extended. But I'm going to click on it anyway. And yeah, look, it got me amped for the movie, but I do want to be cautious with saying I love these trailers, but I don't need another Avengers trailer, and I hope they don't do what they did with the first movie, where they keep throwing a new trailer at us and keep showing us more shots. We're going to go see the movie, guys. You don't need to keep throwing this at us. We get excited, we click on it, but please, please stop making me watch more footage.
Well, here's the thing, though. I can't get the vision of Sally Field out of my head trying to lift Mjolnir, trying to lift the hammer. The thing is, you mentioned what they did with the first one. Seems to have worked with 1 point whatever billion people going out to see it, right? Look, I'm with you. I don't want them to do the Spider-Man 2 thing, or the Amazing Spider-Man 2 thing, where they put out literally 40 minutes of footage in various trailers and commercials. Don't do that. But give us between now and when it comes out in May, maybe 2 more trailers. 3, to me, perfect number of trailers. What I loved about this new incarnation of the trailer is that they added in the line that was my favorite part that they showed at Comic-Con, which is when he says, "You mean well." Like, I love that when he said, "You mean well. You want to save the world, but you don't want it to change." And then that extra little second, because we saw the old shot of him standing there decrepit, right?
Yeah.
But then you show 1 more second, and the Iron Man suits come flying out through the wall, right?
Yeah.
That was heavy. That was great for me. It was all worth it just because of that one line, though. You mean well. Like, yeah, I get it. Trying to save the world. Me too. But I understand save the world means your extinction. So I just thought it was great. So I can't wait for the second trailer. We probably won't get a second trailer. Probably not till after the new year.
Yeah, probably January, February. Yeah. And that'll probably, my belief, it'll focus on the Vision. Because they've held him back for so long that when they finally reveal him, it's going to be in a
Do
trailer.
you think maybe there's a chance they may not reveal him in trailers and just until the
I
movie?
didn't think they would. I thought that the next trailer you see is going to have pretty much the same cast we already know is in this film and that we've seen from the first trailer. It's going to be just a lighter tone because this
Right.
one's pretty heavy. So I think the trailer that they show closer to the release date is going to be a little more peppy. It's going to be a little more positive, even though the movie overall I think is going to be pretty dark.
I think they will show the vision. It could be the last shot of the second trailer where he's just floating or some crazy thing, but they're going to show him. They have to.
All right, let's get on to the first official topic today.
The upcoming Rocky spin-off film Creed, which was originally announced last year, seems to be ready to shoot. According to a report in Empire magazine, the new film is set to start shooting as early as January, with a possible late 2015 release. The movie is set to focus on Apollo Creed's grandson, Adonis, played by Michael B. Jordan, a young man whose family has tried to keep him away from the ring, but whose natural talents as a boxer draw him there anyway. Stallone takes the Burgess Meredith role as Creed's trainer, a Rocky who has left the world of boxing behind and has no real desire to return until he meets the new protege. John, what do you think of what we're hearing about Creed?
This is great on so many levels. First of all, it looks like Stallone is revitalizing what he was kind of his idea for Rocky 5, which is like 12 years ago. Where, okay, yeah, Rocky's retired now, right? And now he comes out just to train Tommy Gunn. So he takes over that Burgess Meredith role, right? You know, he's going to be the grouchy old trainer now, right? But then that movie spun out of control, and even though I still like Rocky 5, it kind of lost its way. And instead of about Rocky progressing into the next stage of his life, becoming now the trainer, it's just him going back to being the fighter again. And I love Rocky 6. But I love that after Rocky 6, you cannot see Rocky fight anymore. So him now embracing that circle of life now and taking over the trainer role, on that alone is great. Michael B. Jordan as Apollo Creed's grandson Adonis. First of all, what a great name.
Right.
A lot of expectations come when you have that name Adonis.
Right.
But not just Michael B. Jordan, who, look, in a lot of years, Michael B. Jordan would have gotten nominated for Academy Award last year for his role in Fruitvale Station.
Yeah.
But it was, even Tom Hanks didn't get in. It was that packed last year. So that's unfortunate. But now you got Ryan Coogler, who directed him in Fruitvale Station, also directing this movie, directing Michael B. Jordan again. Suddenly now, the idea of a Rocky spin-off goes from a neat novelty idea to, this could be an Oscar contender. Like, really, this could be an Oscar contender. I am so beside myself with excitement for this. Yeah, for me, super excited. Mark?
Well, it's no longer just about nostalgia. And that's what's
Yes.
really appealing about this to me is that, look, I love Rocky IV. I love that there's going to be a movie that keeps the Ivan Drago lore alive. We might get to see a shot of Dolph Lundgren knocking out his grandpa in this movie at the beginning. But like you said, it does have Ryan Coogler attached to direct, and it does have Michael B. Jordan. Stallone's going to be in it, but this isn't just a cash grab. This isn't just a, hey, remember how cool the 80s were? This is a new story.
Yeah.
That's the most exciting thing to me.
How much does the tone of this story change from the idea of this movie directed by Sylvester Stallone to this movie directed by Coogler? Like, suddenly it's a totally different feel. Not that there's anything wrong with Stallone as a director, but now this feels like something different. Anyway, Schnepp, what do you think?
I really like it, but I also think this echoes back to the very first Rocky, because Stallone didn't direct the first Rocky. It feels like this is kind of almost like a remake of Rocky. I mean, basically tonality, story-wise.
Circle of life.
Yeah, it just really kind of makes sense. And when I read the story outline, I was like, this sounds actually like I'd be interested in it. I would love to hear that.
Oh, you know they're gonna do
like,
that.
just have him maybe like looking at the statue of Rocky, like right before that final training sequence. That would be insane. I mean, I know that's embedded into the Rocky mythos, but why not transfer that over to all the new people who don't even know what Rocky is? Creed is the best way to do it, I think. I'm excited about it.
All right, what's next?
According to a report from Variety, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart are teaming up to star in the new film Central Intelligence. The film, who will be directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber, who gave us films like Dodgeball and We're the Millers, is described as follows. Kevin Hart will play a former high school sports star turned accountant who, on the eve of a class reunion, is contacted by a former classmate, Dwayne Johnson, who used to be a bullied loser but is now a contract killer for the CIA. Johnson must recruit Hart's character to help foil a plot to sell classified military secrets. Schnepp, how high are your expectations for Central Intelligence?
incredibly high. But as far as the movie goes, I would say, yeah, I mean, unless The Rock, like me, I was like 5'1", and then I grew over 1.5 feet in 1 year in my junior year. So I was like kind of like bullied a little bit, and then everybody was afraid of me for no reason. I was still awkward and weird, only giant. But yeah, so I would assume that is what The Rock is going to be playing, and now he's a contract killer. How come everyone in the CIA is a murderer? Can't he just be a dude who's like, I've got to deliver a package, not a severed head, or I got to pop people? Why can't it just be like, look, will you help me? I'm late delivering these packages. It's always like strange mercenary, sniper, weird murderer, you know? Like,
The
anyway.
CIA is just a bunch of
I
rogues
know,
now. There's
mercenaries.
like, now the rogues have a meeting. They're like, wait, this one guy's playing by the book. What's
Right.
up with that?
Yeah, better take him out, pop him, dome style. Yeah.
I've got to get a T-shirt made that says "Still awkward and weird, but now a giant." I gotta. That's just great. Anyway, Mark, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, look, it sounds like it could be funny. I think Kevin Hart's hysterical. I think The Rock has really grown into a persona that you can see on screen being funny. And this sounds like a 21, 22 Jump Street vibe to it. If they have that same humor where it's winking at itself a little bit, it's a little bit of a spoof, a little satire, I think this can really work.
I've got to tell you, I am more excited about this movie than I should be. I really am. Look, at some point, Kevin Hart, I've said this before, Kevin Hart has a shtick. You know, he's the angry little guy. Okay. And at some point, that's going to get tired and that's going to get boring. But that point has not happened for me yet. I am still ridiculously entertained by Kevin Hart. Seriously, when I see him on screen, even that, what's that, the Best Wedding Man or whatever that, the Wedding Ringer. That's what it is, the Wedding Ringer. That looks so stupid. But I'm still giggling at the trailer because Kevin Hart to me is really funny in it, you know? And so I'm excited about going. And this, you know, everybody knows that I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is just quintessential movie star. I think he's awesome. When I remember first hearing that these two guys were going to do a movie together, there were actually rumors going around that they were going to be remaking Twins, which actually you could kind of see that.
I
right?
wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that. But the thing about Kevin Hart is that he always comes to play. He's never mailed in a performance. You see him, I think people get sick of him sometimes because you see him in movies and TV and then every ESPN promo he's in somewhere. But the guy's really funny and he never mails in a performance.
Yeah, so I'm actually quite excited about this. All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for buy and sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Sinead's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Sinead, what do we got?
Announced this past May, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 has reportedly found a home at Universal Studios and a director in Nanny McPhee's Kirk Jones. The new film will once again star Nia Vardalos, who wrote and starred in the original, and John Corbett for a story that catches up on Tula and Ian more than a decade into their marriage. Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks will once again return to produce. Mark, buy or sell My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2?
Yeah, I'll buy this and give it to my mom for Christmas. like I don't want it, but I'm sure there's a market for this. I really like My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I thought it was a really funny concept. I think it might still be the highest independent film of all time, gross-wise, or the highest grossing romantic comedy of all time. I like that movie a lot. It's more exciting to see people get together and have that culture shock when there's a wedding involved than it's, oh, let's see how this couple's doing. I don't want to hang out with married people. I want to hang out with people who've been married for 10 years. That doesn't sound as appealing to me, but there's a market for this.
Well, I'm going to buy this. I mean, and they do say that this is going to be an even bigger wedding, that there's even a bigger wedding they have to plan. Now, I don't know. They haven't been married long enough for them to have kids yet, so it's actually going to be a cousin or something like that. The first one is kind of like the Cinderella story of movies. Could not find a home, could not get made. Rita Wilson was taking it around to everybody. Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife, was taking it around to everybody, trying to get it made. Nobody wanted to touch it. She loved the scripts that Nia wrote. And so finally her and Tom Hanks just sitting around one day and was like, F them, we'll make it ourselves. And then they made it themselves. And then I'm not even sure if it was ever #1 at the box office, but it was in the top 10 for like 16 weeks. Like it just got legs as word got out. I love this movie. Even though it's Greek, I saw so much of my Italian family in it. It felt completely like they were making My Big Fat Italian Wedding. Like seriously. Then do you remember they made the TV show?
Ooh, yeah.
I do remember that.
That was horrible.
It's not good.
So bad. But they got rid of that quick, so I was able to wash that bad taste out of my mouth. Now, I got to tell you, I'm excited about seeing them go back to it. I want to see them rehash some of the old stuff with some new stuff. So for me, it's a pretty enthusiastic buy.
You mentioned it, and that's why I'm selling it. I cannot wash the TV series out of my brain, and I feel like this is my big, fat box office bomb. That's what's happening. It's just going to fail hard, because I don't think anybody cares about this story anymore. I would rather see a brand new, big, fat something wedding. You know? Big, fat, fatty's wedding. Anything other than, like, these same characters rehashing something that they've already milked and drained. So, I don't know. I'd love to be proven wrong.
On the positive side, I think that the show only had 3 episodes. I think I could be wrong. It might, but
They pulled the plug very
very quick, and nobody watched it. So it's not like people are going to be oversaturated. The good thing is nobody watched your show.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Strange positive.
As many of you will remember, last month it was announced that The Conjuring 2 was bumped off its Halloween 2015 release date to accommodate the return of the original director, James Wan. Now, a new release date has been set. According to reports, The Conjuring 2 will now hit AMC theaters on June 10th, 2016. The date means the movie will go head-to-head against another sequel, Now You See Me 2, and the video game film Uncharted. John, buy or sell the new release date for The Conjuring 2?
I am very excited about this. I was super, I didn't like the fact that they were bumping it off Halloween, but then when we heard it was to make sure they could have James Wan back, it's like, yes, that's great. I'm looking forward to this movie. The first Conjuring was one of the first horror movies I really enjoyed for a while, but I gotta sell this. I don't like the idea of making it a summer film, and I really don't like the idea of putting it up against Now You See Me 2 and Uncharted. Uncharted is a video game adaptation that's got a lot of followers. People have been wanting this one to be turned into a movie. They got Seth Gordon? Seth Gordon is directing Uncharted. That's going to bring a lot of attention. Now You See Me, while I did not like the first one, it had a lot of people go to see it, and now they've added Harry Potter to this magic movie. You got Daniel Radcliffe in there. Its box office is going to be bigger. So I'm looking forward to the movie. I don't know that it was so wise to put it head-to-head against these two things. I mean, Schnepp, buy or sell?
I'm going to buy it. I think it's counter-programming because the other two aren't horror films. So it's like, hey, I don't want to see an action video game or a magic film. I want to get scared, you know. That's the movie I'm going to see. I love that they chose that picked. You know, that is one of the scariest moments of the film. I think that film was incredible, and it really worked on so many levels. It was a great horror film. It's one of the great horror films, you know, easily in my top 20 of all-time horror films, because it worked so well. So to hear that James Wan is coming back to do The Conjuring 2, fantastic. I say plop it anywhere, it'll win.
All right, Mark?
Yeah, I'm buying it as well for the reason that James Wan is coming back. And look, I actually like that they moved it off the Halloween release date because I love horror movies, and Halloween isn't the only time that we should be able to enjoy these in a movie. Right. The first Conjuring came out in the summer, and it was fantastic. I think a lot of people went to go see it. I am concerned about the release date. Now You See Me 2 has a lot of star power. I don't think those audiences are really going to cross over that much. Uncharted is the unknown thing here because it has so much buzz and it's such a cool video game. It would make a great movie, but it's a video game. The best video game movie of all time is still Mortal Kombat. So it's really hard to make a good video game into a good movie. I hope Uncharted's great, but my money's going to be in The Conjuring 2 to win that weekend.
You know, I never like to quote unquote break scoops, but I can tell you that I have very reliable sources that tell me that Bradley Cooper is going to star in Uncharted. So
never mind, move The Conjuring 2 off that date. Let's go see the Bradley Cooper movie.
By the way, I'm kidding. That is not true at all. I just want to
back to Conjuring 2.
How people start tweeting that out, saying it's confirmed Bradley Cooper. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. Was that it? That was it for Mailbag. All right, folks. No, that for buy or sell. Okay, guys. It is now time for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, if you're watching us live right now, we're going to save a couple of minutes at the end of the show to take some of your live Twitter questions as well. So start tweeting in your questions to @AMC Movie News, and Sinead will pick a couple out. But for now, let's get to the mailbag. So Sinead, what do we got?
Rob Heath writes, "Hey, AMC Movie Talk, big fan of the show. I had a quick couple questions about movie budgets. How is it decided how much money is invested into each movie's budget? Who decides it? And if there's any ever money left over, where does it go? Thanks."
They get this big wheel and they spin it and then they stop it. No, okay, so what happens to start with, a screenwriter writes a script. And then if a producer is interested in maybe trying to get that script turned into a movie, one of the first things a good producer will do is go and get a line producer. And with the line, and it's called different things. They'll sit down, read through the script, and they'll basically figure out, okay, what's it going to take to make this? And they'll figure out, you're going to need this, you're going to need this, you're going to need this, you're going to need this much time, you're going to need this much crew, you're going to need this kind of gear, and they will come up with a ballpark figure of this is the money that you have. Now, sometimes then, the producer is able to sell the idea to a studio, and the studio will look at it and say, okay, we're going to set the budget at this, go ahead. Sometimes it works the other way around. Sometimes, the line producers go through the scripts and they say, here's the budget, and the studio or the producers go, oh, well, it was a good idea. We're not going to do this. Then they evaluate, what kind of market do we think we can get? Is this going to be sellable? Can we make money on this? Blah, blah. And all these factors go in. But it starts with the script and somebody who knows what they're doing and actually understands the business sitting down, going through it and coming up with a number. And then it's up to really the studios, the producers, whatever, to figure out, can we make this work at this level? If there's any money left over, what happens to it? Well, the producers and the people financing the film keep it. That's what they're not giving that stuff away. Schnepp, you have some experience in this. How would you explain it?
Well, it also goes with all the different studios have a slate of hey,
Right.
we're going to make 10 movies this year. And those 10 movies are going to be budgeted at this level, at this bracket, 100 million, 100 million, 100 million, 100 million, 100 million, which leaves about 4 of them to be the 50 million films. So unfortunately, due to a lot of other factors over the last 10, 15 years, our middle to low budget cinema have dropped out. Independent cinema is truly independent. You're talking about $500,000, $1 million. There's not really that many $10 million to $15 million movies that are made because they can't survive within the brackets that we have right now. We have tentpole movies and big budget films, which are advertised as, kind of blockbusters to get the masses to come to. Then we have smaller films which survive at indie film level. So the independent film, which we got used to maybe in the mid-90s, doesn't exist anymore. That being said, there are still tons of movies that are being made within a $50 to $60 million budget, where with P&A and advertising, that's what P&A is, that it comes to about 100 million. So overall, if they can break 250, 300 million, worldwide, then it's a hit. Then all the just rentals and stuff afterwards is just gravy. So it really is kind of like you always say, it is a business. People forget that making movies is a business. It's about at the end of the line, it's like making money. So that's kind of how everything's budgeted. Yeah, definitely you have to put those two together. So when you're writing a script, if you're writing an independent film, don't think about how much money you're going to be counting at the end of the time. When the film is finally made, you'll be seeing nothing, basically, because that's how it is. If it's a big budget film, you're going to get paid really well, and hopefully your film, explodes on the scene and makes sequels.
Mark?
Is that going to be on the test?
Yes, it's all.
No,
on the
I
test.
think the biggest problem is that when you have a big movie come out, or these franchises like comic book movies, and then Marvel announces their upcoming slate, and DC announces their upcoming slate, what Schnepp was alluding to is that the middle class of movies, kind of like the middle class in America, gets washed away. So now you either have these huge budget movies, or you have movies that are self-financed. And the good news is that it's a lot cheaper to make a good-looking movie now than it used to be,
Yeah.
but that middle class is the one that suffers. If a movie has any money left over, it goes to Red Vines. More craft services.
All right, what's next?
Adrian writes, "Hi AMC. Professional wrestlers have gone from the ring to the big screen. For example, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who has been one of the most successful ones. Dave Bautista was in one of the most successful movies of the year, Guardians of the Galaxy. He's rumored to be in the next Bond movie and the Guardians sequel. For Dwayne Johnson, doing Hercules, which was okay, Furious 7, San Andreas. My question is, do you think Dave Bautista will have a successful acting career like Dwayne Johnson? Thanks, and bring on the filthy."
How can you forget, though, about Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley in Blade 3 and that masterful performance he gave? No, that was terrible. Look, everybody knows I'm a big Dave Bautista fan. I think this guy has got his head on straight. He's humble. You'll talk to him and he'll talk about his limitations and all that kind of stuff. He is the type of guy you wish there was more of in Hollywood. Could he be the type of star that The Rock is? Absolutely not. And part of the reason now, he's already got a better career than most actors ever will in their lives.
Right.
And he will continue to get good roles because of his attitude and the way, and getting the right filmmakers to use him the right way. But comparing him to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a little unfair. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was born to be in front of a camera. All the way back from the wrestling days to whenever you turn a camera on that guy, magic just happens.
Right.
It's this natural force of personality and charisma that a guy like The Rock has, who then, once he dedicated himself to really then becoming, I'm going to be an actor too, and learning and training over, it's been a lot of years since that first Scorpion King movie he was in.
Right.
And he has worked so hard and he's become a legit movie star, right? Dave Bautista, while he can get better, he doesn't have that natural, out-of-the-box, pure magnetic force of nature that The Rock is. So I think he can do very well in films, but can he be The Rock? I don't see it, Mark.
Yeah, I think he's competing more with John Cena than he is with The Rock. You know,
And you'll win that fight.
If you come from the wrestling world, then you have that performance background. You know how to put on a good show. But I've never been a wrestling fan. I just don't enjoy it. However, I knew who The Rock was. When he was a wrestler, when that's all he was, I knew who The Rock was because he had personality to burn and he crossed over from wrestling. Even before he was in movies, people were aware of who that dude was.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Batista was until he was this wrestler that was going to be in movies. I think he's fantastic, by the way. I think he's going to have a great career. I just don't. There's like one Rock in a generation, maybe, and that guy's The Rock for this generation.
Yeah, in fact, I think nowadays a lot of people don't even refer to him as a wrestler. They're like, oh, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. You know, it's like because it's so long ago, and he's proven to everyone that he's an actor.
Right.
He's a great actor. So wrestling is just not even in my mind anymore. Though once in a while I smell what The Rock is cooking, or some of his lines come back.
You still get a waft of what
You
he
say
had been
that
cooking.
with respect.
Yeah, I did say it with respect, I think. Right, Dwayne?
To
Don't
me,
come
he's
and beat me up.
always going to be The Rock.
But I gotta
even
say,
as
like
an actor.
Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, there's a lineage of great wrestlers turned into cinematic or television stars. You know, it just never transcended like Dwayne Johnson has transcended.
He's taken it to another
So
level.
yeah, he's on a different plane. So yeah, you can't compare Dave Bautista. Come back in 10 years and let's talk about it. Then possibly we can look at it.
All right, what's next?
John Kretschko writes, hello, sons and daughters of AMC. I hope everyone is doing fine. Now that Big Hero 6 has come out and is the final superhero movie of the year, how would you rank the superhero movies that came out this year?
That's a tough question, man. First of all, I'm not even sure I would count Big Hero 6 as a superhero movie per se. I don't know that I would. But for the sake of the question, let's throw it in there. I love Big Hero 6, but Big Hero 6 comes in 4th place for me, if we're counting it. And I love Big Hero 6 because it's, as much as I like it, it's not Guardians of the Galaxy, it ain't Captain America Winter Soldier, and it ain't X-Men Days of Future Past. Therein lies the problem, though, and then in 5th is The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I still kind of liked. I kind of liked The Amazing Spider-Man 2, unlike some other people at this table. But I think we're all going to agree that probably comes in 5th. The problem, I'm not willing to put this is my final in-stone answer. At the end of the year, I will. But the problem I'm facing ranking these films is there was no comic book film that was more fun than Guardians of the Galaxy. That's just pure fun. And then just the overall cinematic quality of X-Men Days of Future Past and Captain America Winter Soldier, which I'm going to probably make a passionate plea coming up near the end of the year that one of these films should get, if there's 10 nominees this year, should get one of those 10 nominee spots. I thought Winter Soldier, just as cinema storytelling, was almost perfect. I mean, it's just fantastic. How do I rate these 3? Damn, I don't know. Okay, look, right now, although I may change my mind tomorrow.
You might be doing it right now.
Right now, I'll go at number 1, Captain America. At number 2, Guardians. At number 3, X-Men Days of Future Past. But tomorrow, X-Men I got in 3rd. I could easily have that at number 1. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Anyway, Schnepp, how would you rank them?
I would go X-Men, Cap, Guardians. But yeah, they're really like, it's not really 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 1.2, 1.3. They were really so much fun, all 3 of those movies. So that's really hard. Yeah, Spider-Man isn't even in my top 30 movies. Look under garbage can, and you might see some.
Mark, how would you do it?
Yeah, I love these kind of questions because I love like the end of the good son. I got to drop one of these, And I think Guardians of the Galaxy was just so much fun. That's what always wins out for me is that I go to the movies to be entertained. I love a great story like what you got with X-Men. I like Cap 2 a lot. I'm going to go Guardians is a huge number 1. X-Men Days of Future Past edges out Captain America the Winter Soldier for 2nd place. And then Big Hero 6, if that's a superhero movie, I think the Lego movie is also a superhero movie. And then those two competing against each other for the 4th spot.
Fight! Get over here.
All right, folks. Well, we said we'd leave a little time for some of your live questions. We're going to do that right now, so you can fire out some questions and make sure you're following us on Twitter at AMC Movie News. So, Sinead, what have you picked out for us?
Josiah asks, should they have released the title for Star Wars Episode 7 with a teaser trailer? That would have been epic.
Nah. I think these are two things that you can stagger out and like drop title, now drop teaser. I don't think anybody would have been more excited about the teaser had they announced the title with the teaser. I think they got our mouths watering now. They dropped the title, so we're like, oh yeah, I'm ready. Give it to me. And now we'll see what happens when they do drop the teaser. We still don't know. A lot of people claim to know when a teaser's coming. Nobody knows when a teaser's coming. We do know it's coming. I believe it'll be before the end of the year. Fingers crossed. I'm going to lose my mind when it does. But I don't think announcing them together. I think they were better served. They're getting more bang for their buck by splitting up the title announcement and the actual teaser.
Do you know how crazy it is when this teaser drops? We're gonna have Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher in a movie again. I mean, that's just kind of, for me, like as a little kid is when I first saw that trilogy, and I remember walking to the cinema over the hot summer to see Empire Strikes Back. My parents were cool with letting me walk 3 miles to the Showcase Cinemas in Connecticut.
Was that before you were a foot taller and awkward? Because that would have been a longer walk.
It was actually before that. I was a tiny, but that's burned into my mind. And so to even know that they made a Star Wars 7, for me, it's just like, it's incredible. Like, it's like that hallowed ground. Like, yeah, there's only going to be 6. I remember when as a kid, I heard there were going to be like 9 or 12. And now there's a Star Wars 7. We're going to see a teaser for it. I don't even care what the images are. Just see Luke Skywalker again with some weird beard. I don't care if it's all head turns. Just like,
that's it.
Just with John Williams music, it's all head turns. I might be crying at the end of it. Yeah, it's just
if
fantastic.
It's all head turns, it's going to look like a Walmart family photo shoot.
Yeah, and I will love every second.
But here's the thing, though. I'll play devil's advocate real quick. I don't want to second guess Star Wars. However, the title The Force Awakens, I think, is a really neat title. But if you did that and the trailer is like what Christian Harloff and I both think it's going to be, and it's just it's a vision of Mark Hamill with the beard, and then you just see him look up and a lightsaber comes on. When you hear that lightsaber ignite and the title The Force Awakens, that would have blown people's minds if they're like, oh, it's awake again, as opposed to getting the title and then the trailer. Having said that, I'm happy with anything.
Look, we talk a lot about Star Wars. Star Wars is air and water and breath and life to me.
Agreed.
And as much as we talk, and I talk about the tangibilization of things, I got to tell you, I realized yesterday there's still a part of me where none of this feels real. And I think when that first trailer drops, you know, it's like you watch those YouTube videos with the kids who they probably know, oh, sometime this week, Daddy's coming home from the war. My military dad's coming home. But then you see the YouTube video, and even though they knew the dad's probably coming home, the wife knows that her husband's coming home. They just lose it. It's like, now it's real. That is going to be me. I'm going to be sitting in some theater, and and I am going to break down into tears. I'm going to cry. I'm going to sob. I'm going to hug strangers next to me. I'm so excited about it. Anyway, I'm sorry. What's next? Let's get to another Twitter question.
Captain Tight Pants asks, buy or sell an Enemy Mine remake?
Oh, yeah, buy it. That's actually a really cool story. Well, I think it was Louis Gossett Jr. did the voice of the.
He played the character.
Yeah, he played the character and did the voice. I think that's a fabulous. You know what? That's one of these movies. Talking about indie films, you could make that on a budget of Moon.
Yeah.
You could really make this thing like Moon a little bit with some spectacular opening sequences and end one shows how they end up back there. I'd be for it. Yeah, it's been a long time. That's gonna be like a 20-year-old movie or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that
I
at this
remember
point.
it's based on a short comic book that was published by Marvel in the 70s. I had the comic, and I remember, oh right, it's about this crash landed human versus an alien. I think it was called Arena, was what the comic book, the short was. But yeah, I remember seeing Enemy Mine as a kid and not really, it was a little too artsy. I think the director I think it was Jacques Schwartz, but correct me if I'm wrong. The guy who did Quest for Fire. I'm pretty sure it's the same director.
Okay.
It was a little weird. The way it was like, the pacing of it was like a lot of long shots, not Tolkien-y long shots with hobbits walking across mountains, but these two people walking like 20 minutes. Like, what's happening, So, I don't know. I mean, you're right. An Enemy Mine remake, Hell yeah. I think it's a great
Mark?
idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to get as emotional as I will for the Star Wars teaser when I see the Enemy Mine remake teaser.
Right.
But absolutely, I've never seen the original Enemy Mine, but I hear it was a really neat concept that didn't quite have the technology to the point where you could have made that movie right. So maybe we can do it this time.
Dennis Quaid, I think.
Yes, as it was. It was just great. All right, last question of the day. Let's do this one quick.
Okay, Roshan asks, do you think, guys, that Jim Carrey could be the next Joker? Can he pull it off?
Could Jim Carrey? I mean, Jim Carrey's proven that he can act, like outside of comedy. He can act. Could he be a good Joker? Sure. But I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not big on these questions about, hey, what do you think about this guy playing this character? What do you think about this? It's like, sure, anybody who's a decent actor in the hands of the right director could be that. So, sure, why not? Jim Carrey.
I think Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber looks more like the Joker than Jim Carrey does. But yeah, I think Jim Carrey can do anything. Any time you have to tap into some dark psychopathic character-y thing, I think Jim Carrey is great at doing that, and I think that he would be a great Joker. The star power might take away a little something from it,
maybe
because
yeah.
he's Jim Carrey. But I think he'd be phenomenal.
I don't think he should ever play any other DC villain because he was already the Riddler.
Yeah, you'd have to. Maybe it's an argument for a devil's advocate could be he's got to redeem himself in that. But no, you're right. I don't think I could get over that. I mean, that was really a poor attempt. All right, folks, that'll do it for us on this installment of AMC Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget. Lots of great movies playing in AMC theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater showtime and, of course, your movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video and you'll find a link to our podcast feed so you can listen to us on the way to work or at the gym or wherever you happen to be. Also, I'll remind you once again, if you're a fan of the TV show Arrow, tune in tonight when I do my after show. I've got special guest Arrow himself, Stephen Amell, is going to be on. Don't forget, donate to the American Cancer Society this week. Huge, great cause. And I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting right here, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, where can people find you online?
Online at 5150 Ellis this weekend. I'll be in Dallas at the Addison Improv. Let's have some yucks.
And of course, right beside him, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you?
Find me at Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp or at TDOSLWH, and bye.
Just look around for a tall, awkward giant. And of course, over there, our lovely host today, Ms. Sinead DeFries. Sinead, where can people find you online?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Sinead DeFries and at thatsosinead.com.
And you can find me on all the various social media networks just at John Campea. Thank you so much for joining us again today, guys. My name's John Campea for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.